The accidental discovery DR. Sarah Chen rubbed her tired eyes and stared at the data streaming across her monitors for the 100th time that evening. The numbers dancing on the screen should have been impossible, yet every sensor in the Mars research station confirmed the same incredible readings. 3 months ago, she had been conducting routine experiments on quantum particle behavior in the planet's unique magnetic field environment. What she discovered instead would change the course of human history forever. The breakthrough happened during a routine calibration of the quantum resonance chamber. Sarah had been testing how exotic matter particles behaved when subjected to Mars' weaker gravitational field compared to Earth. The experiment was supposed to last 15 minutes and produce predictable results that would help improve spacecraft shielding technology. Instead, something went wrong in the most spectacular way possible. At exactly 14:23 Mars Standard Time, the quantum field generator experienced what Sarah's preliminary reports called a cascading resonance failure. The safety protocols should have shut down the experiment immediately, but the backup systems malfunctioned in a way that no engineer had ever anticipated. Instead of containing the exotic particles, the magnetic fields began amplifying their quantum properties exponentially. Sarah watched in fascination and growing alarm as her instruments detected the formation of what could only be described as a tunnel through space-time itself. The exotic matter particles were creating microscopic tears in the fabric of reality, and these tears were somehow stabilizing instead of collapsing as physics predicted they should. Even more incredible was what happened when she introduced a simple carbon nanotube into the field as a test object. The nanotube disappeared from the chamber and reappeared on the other side of the laboratory instantaneously. There was no travel time, no visible energy beam, and no apparent limit to how far the object could be transported. Sarah had accidentally created humanity's first functional faster-than-light transportation device, and she had done it using equipment that cost less than a single military helicopter. Colonel Marcus Webb arrived at the Mars Research Station, aboard the next supply transport, carrying orders that classified Sarah's entire project under the highest levels of military secrecy. Marcus had spent 15 years in the Space Force evaluating new technologies for strategic applications, but he had never seen anything that excited the Pentagon brass quite like Sarah's quantum tunneling discovery. Marcus understood immediately what the discovery meant for military superiority. A transportation system that could move objects instantly across any distance would make traditional warfare obsolete. Troops could be deployed anywhere in the solar system within minutes. Supply lines would become meaningless when ammunition and equipment could be teleported directly to combat zones. Enemy positions could be struck without warning from impossible angles. Sarah found herself working 18-hour days, expanding her research, while military engineers built larger and more sophisticated versions of her accidental breakthrough. The original quantum chamber had been the size of a microwave oven and could transport objects no larger than a baseball. Within weeks, the military construction teams had built chambers large enough to accommodate vehicles, then spacecraft, and finally entire military units. The first human test of faster-than-light travel took place on a Tuesday morning that would be remembered as the day humanity stepped onto the galactic stage. Test pilot Captain Lisa Rodriguez volunteered to make the historic journey from Mars to Jupiter's orbital space, a distance that conventional spacecraft required 8 months to traverse. Lisa had been chosen for her experience with flight systems and her proven ability to remain calm during emergencies. The quantum chamber, built for human transportation, was the size of a small building and required the entire power output of the Mars Research Station to operate. Sarah monitored every aspect of the field generation process while Marcus coordinated with mission control on Earth. Lisa strapped herself into the pilot's seat of a specially modified exploration pod and gave the thumbs-up signal that would launch humanity into the interstellar age. The transportation process lasted exactly 3.7 seconds from Lisa's perspective. Though instruments showed the journey occurred instantaneously from an outside observer's viewpoint, Lisa found herself floating in space near Jupiter's largest moon, Ganymede, staring at the gas giant's swirling atmospheric storms from closer than any human had ever seen them before. Her communications equipment immediately established contact with Earth, confirming that faster-than-light travel was not only possible but practical for human use. What none of the humans celebrating this historic achievement knew was that their experiment had been detected immediately by monitoring stations positioned throughout the solar system. The Galactic Council had maintained observation posts in human space for over 3 centuries, carefully tracking humanity's technological development and waiting for signs that the species might be ready for contact with galactic civilization. Senior Monitor Vexaven of the Crystalline Collective felt what humans would recognize as profound alarm when the monitoring stations registered the first quantum tunneling event. The energy signature was unmistakable and terrifying in its implications. Humanity had somehow stumbled onto one of the most dangerous technologies in the known universe, and they were experimenting with it like children playing with fusion reactors. Vex-7 had spent 40 years studying human technological progression and had always assumed they would follow the standard developmental pattern observed in dozens of other species. First came chemical propulsion, then fusion drives, followed by careful mathematical development of hyperspace theory over several centuries. Most species required between 2,000 and 5,000 years to safely develop faster than light capabilities without destroying themselves or destabilizing local space-time. The humans had accomplished this feat in less than 4 months using a method that even advanced galactic civilizations considered extremely hazardous. Quantum tunneling technology had been banned by most species after the Andromeda incident 3 million years ago, when an entire galaxy was rendered uninhabitable by cascading space-time failures. The fact that humans had discovered this technology accidentally made the situation even more dangerous. Vex-7 transmitted an emergency alert to the Galactic Council headquarters, warning them that humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel, using the most catastrophically dangerous method possible. The response from the Council was immediate and unanimous. All observation posts were ordered to active monitoring status, while the Council convened an emergency session to determine how to handle this unprecedented crisis. Council Matriarch Zara Prime of the Elder species called the emergency session to order within hours of receiving Vex-7's alert. Representatives from 47 different civilizations materialized in the council chambers through holographic projection systems that spanned half the galaxy. Never before in galactic history had a primitive species developed such dangerous technology so quickly and with so little understanding of the consequences. The debate in the council chambers was immediate and heated. Military coordinator Vex-9 of the warrior clans argued for immediate intervention to prevent humans from destabilizing the entire stellar region with their reckless experimentation. His species had fought wars against civilizations that misused quantum tunneling technology, and he understood firsthand the destruction such forces could unleash. Science Director Quinelfa of the Academic Worlds disagreed with the military assessment and argued that humanity's unique approach to the technology might represent a breakthrough that could benefit all galactic civilization. The speed of human technological development was unprecedented, and their willingness to experiment with dangerous forces suggested they might succeed where more cautious species had failed. Elder diplomat Reth 5 of the Peaceful Alliance suggested a middle course of gradual contact and careful guidance to help humans develop their technology safely. This approach had worked successfully with 17 other species over the past 10,000 years, though none of those species had developed faster-than-light travel using quantum tunneling methods. As the Council debated, human activity in the solar system continued to escalate at an alarming pace. Sarah's research team had begun mass production of quantum chambers while military forces prepared for the first interstellar exploration missions. The humans showed no signs of caution or restraint as they prepared to spread their dangerous technology throughout local space. Monitor Vex 7 provided continuous updates on human activities, reporting that they were constructing larger quantum chambers and planning expeditions to nearby star systems. The primitive species seemed completely unaware that their experiments were creating ripple effects in space-time that could be detected across hundreds of light-years. Every quantum jump left microscopic tears in reality that were slowly accumulating and growing stronger. The Council faced a decision that would determine the fate of both humanity and galactic civilization. They could intervene immediately to prevent a potential catastrophe, or they could wait and observe as humanity either mastered the dangerous technology or destroyed themselves in the attempt. Either choice carried enormous risks, and time was running out as human faster-than-light capabilities grew stronger with each passing day. The Council's dilemma. The emergency session of the Galactic Council entered its third consecutive day as representatives from dozens of civilizations struggled to reach consensus on the human situation. Council matriarch Zara Prime had witnessed many crises during her 800-year tenure, but never before had a single species posed such a complex challenge to galactic stability and order. Military Coordinator Dex-9 presented detailed tactical assessments that painted humanity as an existential threat to local space-time integrity. His warrior species had developed sophisticated models for predicting the effects of uncontrolled quantum tunneling, and every simulation showed the same catastrophic results. If humans continued their current rate of experimentation, they would create a cascade failure that could render dozens of star systems uninhabitable. Within a century, the holographic displays in the council chambers showed the spreading pattern of space-time distortions, emanating from human space like ripples in a cosmic pond. Each quantum jump created microscopic tears that were slowly accumulating into larger instabilities. Dex-9's projections indicated that humanity's reckless use of the technology would eventually trigger a chain reaction that could collapse the entire stellar region into a quantum singularity. Science. Director Quinn Alpha challenged Dex-9's projections with her own analysis of human technological capabilities. Her academic species had studied the development patterns of hundreds of civilizations over millions of years, and humanity represented something entirely unique in galactic history. Never before had a species achieved such rapid technological advancement while maintaining the creativity and adaptability that seemed to define human behavior. Quinn Alpha's research teams had been analyzing human scientific methods for decades and had identified patterns that no other species displayed. Humans approached complex problems through intuitive leaps and experimental trial-and-error processes that more logical species found incomprehensible. This chaotic methodology should have led to failure and destruction, yet humans consistently achieved breakthrough results that surpassed theoretical predictions. The quantum tunneling discovery was a perfect example of human scientific methodology at work. They had stumbled onto one of the universe's most fundamental forces through what other species would consider careless accident, then immediately began scaling up the technology without conducting the careful safety studies that galactic protocols required by all logical analysis. They should have destroyed themselves within days of the first experiment. Instead, humans had not only survived their initial experiments, but had begun improving the technology at an exponential rate. Monitor. Vexevan's latest reports indicated that human quantum chambers were becoming more stable and efficient with each iteration. They were solving complex engineering challenges that had stymied galactic civilization for millennia, and they were doing it through methods that seemed to defy conventional scientific wisdom. Elder Diplomat Reth 5 attempted to find middle ground between the military and scientific assessments by proposing a carefully managed first contact scenario. His species had successfully guided 17 primitive civilizations through the transition to galactic membership over the past 10,000 years. The standard protocol involved gradual revelation of galactic civilization, followed by careful mentorship in advanced technologies. However, humanity's situation was unprecedented in several critical ways. Previous contact scenarios had involved species that developed faster than light, traveled through conventional hyperspace mathematics over thousands of years. These species had time to develop philosophical and ethical frameworks for handling advanced technology safely. They understood the responsibilities that came with the power to traverse interstellar distances. Humans had achieved faster than light capability in months rather than millennia, and they showed no signs of developing the cautious mindset that galactic civilization considered essential for safely handling such dangerous forces. They were treating quantum tunneling technology like another engineering challenge to be solved through experimentation and iteration, completely unaware of the cosmic forces they were manipulating. As the Council continued its debates, human activity in the solar system escalated beyond all previous projections. Sarah Chen's research facility on Mars had become the center of a massive industrial complex dedicated to quantum chamber production. Military contractors from Earth were arriving daily with equipment and personnel to support the expanding faster-than-light program. The humans were clearly preparing for large-scale interstellar operations. Colonel Marcus Webb had been promoted to general and placed in charge of humanity's first interstellar military command. His strategic planning documents, intercepted by Council monitoring systems, revealed ambitious plans for establishing human outposts in dozens of nearby star systems within the next 5 years. The humans intended to spread their dangerous technology throughout local space with no apparent consideration for the consequences. Even more alarming was the human approach to technology sharing. Unlike most species, which carefully controlled access to advanced technologies through rigid hierarchical systems, humans seemed inclined to share their discoveries freely among their population. Quantum chamber blueprints were being distributed to universities and research institutions across human space, ensuring that the dangerous technology would proliferate rapidly beyond any possibility of external control. Monitor. Vex 7 reported that human scientists were already experimenting with modifications to the basic quantum tunneling design. Some research teams were attempting to create permanent tunnels that could remain open indefinitely, allowing for continuous transportation between distant locations. Others were investigating whether quantum chambers could be miniaturized for personal use, potentially giving individual humans the ability to teleport anywhere in the galaxy instantaneously. The Council faced a critical decision point. As human capabilities continued to expand beyond all predictions, traditional first contact protocols were designed for species that developed advanced technology gradually over millennia, allowing for careful assessment and gradual integration into galactic civilization. Humanity's explosive technological growth made such gradual approaches impossible. X-9 argued that immediate military intervention was the only viable option for preventing a galactic catastrophe. His warrior fleets could disable human quantum facilities before the technology spread beyond the solar system, though such intervention would likely result in significant human casualties and would violate fundamental Council principles regarding interference with developing civilizations. Quinalpha countered that humanity's unique approach to faster-than-light travel might represent a revolutionary breakthrough that could solve problems that had plagued galactic civilization for millions of years. The quantum tunneling method, despite its dangers, was potentially far more efficient than conventional hyperspace travel. If humans could be taught to use the technology safely, it might transform interstellar transportation for all galactic species. The debate intensified when Monitor Vex7 reported the most shocking development yet in human technological progress. A research team led by Dr. Sarah Chen had successfully created a stable, permanent quantum tunnel connecting Mars to Jupiter's orbital space. The tunnel remained open continuously, allowing instantaneous transportation of materials and personnel across the vast distance without requiring the massive energy expenditures of individual quantum jumps. This achievement represented something that galactic civilization had attempted unsuccessfully for over 2 million years. Permanent quantum tunnels required precise manipulation of spacetime fields that even the most advanced species had never mastered. The fact that humans had accomplished this feat within months of discovering faster-than-light travel sent shockwaves through the Council chambers. Elder Matriarch Zara Prime called for an immediate vote on intervention protocols as human capabilities continued to exceed all theoretical projections. The traditional Council consensus-building process was breaking down under the pressure of rapidly changing circumstances. Every day of delay allowed humans to advance further into territories that galactic civilization considered impossibly dangerous. The final catalyst for Council action came when human scientists announced plans for their first expedition beyond the solar system. A fleet of 6 quantum-capable vessels was preparing to establish permanent outposts in the Alpha Centauri system, with additional expeditions planned for Barnard's Star and Wolf 359. Humanity was about to spread their dangerous technology to multiple star systems simultaneously. Council military forces received authorization to begin positioning intervention fleets around human space, while diplomatic teams prepared for emergency first contact procedures. The careful, gradual approach that had worked for other species was no longer viable. Humanity had forced the Galactic Council's hand through the sheer speed and audacity of their technological advancement. As alien warships moved into position around Earth's solar system and diplomatic protocols were hastily revised for unprecedented circumstances, one question dominated Council discussions. Had humanity's remarkable achievements made them invaluable partners for galactic civilization, or had their reckless experimentation with cosmic forces made them a threat that could not be allowed to spread beyond their home system? The answer would determine the fate of both species and fundamentally alter the balance of power that had maintained galactic peace for millions of years. Asterisk.